Hey, my friends. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. How are we doing? You were there. We're going to be drawing today. We're going to be doing something different today. I'm excited. I'm excited because I don't know if you can see the camera setup here. Hold on. Yeah, let me show uh, the setup. So there's a webcam here that is pointing down that is going to be recording my iPad that is down here. Let me see if I can. Yeah, you see the iPad down here? That's what we're going to be doing today. So I'm excited because it's the first time I do something like this. And I'm nervous too because I don't know if it's going to work. Hopefully it does. But yeah, I usually whenever I stream from my computer and I stream from my Cintiq tablet. I have a little bit more control. So on this one, it's going to be a camera pointing towards my drawing, which hopefully doesn't. It's not like my hand too in the way. But I think it's kind of cool to be able to see my hand while I draw, and then you can see how I move my hand. Like I'm not that great anyway, but I don't know. Like that makes it a little more human, I guess, less digital. But it's all digital, baby. So anyway, so let's wait for more people. Okay, usually when there's 15 people, that's when we start doing this. So let me just go over the instructions and the agenda for today. And well, before that, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being, for some of us, really late. And for some of you, I suppose it's your morning. I don't know, or it's really late at night, whatever time it is. Actually, on the chat, let us know where you are at and what time it is at your place, and also your name. What's going on? What's your name? Do you and so again, thank you so much for joining. Today we're going to be drawing a little monster, and just sketching it. Just like really quickly sketching it. Uh, Hopefully we go over it really quickly because we're going to be using the Symmetry tool from Procreate, which let me put this in pause. When it's the Symmetry tool in Procreate, just like make things really easy. It's actually it feels like cheating because you draw one thing on one side and it appears on the other side, symmetric, uh, symmetrically. And so it makes your drawing a little bit faster, more when you're drawing stuff like faces or I don't know, geometric shapes like they have symmetry in them, and you don't have to draw the other side, and you can always make sure that it's always going to be perfect. So it's a good technique, and we're going to be using it for drawing a monster because it has an eye on one side, another eye on the other side, just like all the different features of the monster. You want them to be on both sides, so we're gonna use the symmetry for that. So the monster is going to be looking to the front. Um, and yeah, that's it. We have enough people. Let's get started. Let's see your comments here. People from the Netherlands, that's dope. From the United States, it's you are in the same time zone as me, Mina. Good morning for some of you. That's great. You're waking up to to a live stream. So let's get started. Let's see if this camera actually works. I'm a little bit worried. Okay, cool. So there you go. You see my camera, and this is one example that I just made before this live stream. You can see that I played around with the symmetry, but the symmetry line is here in the middle, and just like both sides are the same. I actually made two. I drew two elements. Let's see another element, another monster. This monster was, I don't know, just like big eyes and horns and just like a I don't know, weird hair, and you want also fangs, of course, for your monster, and a weird nose. Kind of looks like a pig nose, I guess, or like an animal nose. So we're going to be doing that, and also big eyes with like a little bit of glimmer in their light, and that makes the monster a little more approachable, I guess, and it just like makes it a cute monster. So we're going to be drawing a cute monster. That's what we're going to be doing today. So let me go to the gallery here. By the way, I'm using Procreate. Procreate is it's an iPad tool, and I'm using also just a regular iPad. Uh, this one is the 2019 version of the iPad, just the cheapest iPad. That's what I mean. It's not the iPad Pro, and I'm using the pencil, the Apple Pencil that is like $99, I think. I'm not using the Pro one. I want to upgrade one of these days, but to be honest, I haven't been needing to upgrade. I just like I've been enjoying this setup, and it's way more affordable. So if you want to get started to use starting with the iPad, and you see that the iPad Pro is a little bit too expensive, don't worry, you can get this one and still draw. So it's way more affordable. It's only, well, at least in the United States, it's $350 or less. Okay, which is still a little bit expensive, I know, but at least not as expensive as the iPad Pro, which is $1,000. Okay, cool. So, or 800, I don't know. This is Procreate. Let me go to, no, what? Hold on. Let me go to the gallery and let's create a new document. Just going to create one that is the screen size, so we could just take care of all of it. And here, Procreate is really cool because you can just use a ton of different, it comes already with a ton of different default brushes that are actually pretty cool. And today we're actually going to be using the default 6B pencil from the sketching library, but there's a ton of libraries. And I have one that is called Inktober that I use a lot. I think I bought that one. And which one is that? Inking, I think. No, Inktober, that one. But inking is another one that is really good for just like a drawing thick lines, or just like inking. Just like after you sketch something, and then you want to ink it after that. So you go to your inking tool and you start inking it. So now it's a little bit more well-defined. So anyway, but that's just about brushes. And today we don't care about that. We're just going to be using the pencil. And what we really care about is about this Symmetry tool that it's hidden inside the menu. And you go to the canvas. And then inside the canvas, you're going to see this menu that says Drawing Guide. So you turn it on, you say, go to the edit drawing guide, and you go all the way to the right to this menu that's called Symmetry. And here you can control the color of the line in the middle. That's where it's going to be defined, like one of the sides. And you can actually rotate it if you want to. You can control how this how the symmetry works. We're just going to leave it like this for now. But I'm going to change the color of this because I cannot see the color of this thing. And you can change the thickness in case you want it to be way more obvious. I usually, well, I'm colorblind, so I need a really thick line. And also here, something else hidden in this options menu, you want to turn on the assisted drawing, which is already turned on. That's good. And also you have other options here. You can make it horizontal. You can make it a quadrant. These are super fun. You can also make it the radial one, and you can create amazing patterns with this one. But let's use just the vertical one. Okay, cool. So once you're done, you click done, and now you're back and you're drawing. And now if you draw anything in one side, see how it replicates on the other side. So that's the beauty about this. So really quickly you can start sketching something and start getting results. So for example, before that, let me show you my sketch. It's a terrible sketch, but just gives us an idea of the little monster we're gonna draw. So we have eyes, a little nose, some hair, and some horns. Just the basic monster. And I love just drawing monsters like this. So let's just start drawing the. Just start sketching, it's just a sketch, and just do it as quick as possible. Just don't worry too much about details right now. Actually, here you might want to start from here. That way you have two teeth in the middle. And actually, you know what? I made a mistake. I made a mistake. I got too excited. This is the nose, but the nose, then we want this little thing that we see in the noses of like bears and other animals, like dogs too. Some of them have the nose that just like they have these little pieces here, and then the teeth are behind, right? So the nose, the stout, is that how you call it? My English is not great, so sorry about that. Okay, and let's erase. You can even erase stuff, and it erases on both sides. So let's do this. Let's start adding the little teeth here, and I added the fangs here, and then let's add the gap in the mouth. This is going to define the rest of my face. So there you go, and then maybe the the lower lip. There you go. See how easy it is? It feels like cheating, to be honest. I'm going to make this fang a little bit bigger, just like that. And then maybe make just erase this part. Just erase it. I just erase it on one side and erase it on the other side. How beautiful is that? We're cheating. Don't tell anyone. Okay, cool. So we have this piece. So I'm going to move it a little bit higher. Just a little bit higher, and see here on the sketch how the eyes are almost at the same level as the nose. That makes it a little bit cuter. So we're going to try that, and just big circles for the eyes, just gigantic circles. I'm realizing maybe I'm going to need more size. This is starting to look like a little bit like Jake from Finn and Jake. From Adventure Time, okay, so then just fill this. This is just going to be like a big puppy eyes. And then you want to draw a circle around this circle. This is going to be, usually it's color. This is where you find the color of your eyes. So I'm just going to add a little bit of texture, just a little bit of sketch here. And you can add a little bit of glimmer here just by erasing. Look at that. It's starting to look cute. And now I can make the rest of the eye. Realizing I made these eyes a little bit too big. I started too big. I'm going to need to make the canvas a little bit bigger. So don't worry. You go to the canvas. You can crop and resize. And you can actually... Let's say that it goes all the way to 400. Damn, I'm going to mess up my... No, you know what? Let's do the opposite. Let's actually transform this. I'm going to transform the whole element. I'm going to transform it. I'm going to try to keep it in the center. I went too big. I'm sorry. I went too big. Just there in the center. That way it stays symmetric. That's the beauty of doing it live. You make mistakes, and it's okay. You can correct them. Okay, cool. There you go. Now I'm happy. My eyes. I'm going to start perfecting the eyes. I'm going to actually erase this part. I'm going to make them a little bit more aligned with the pupil, just around there. There you go. Starting to look good. Let's add a little bit of this thing below the eye. What do you call them? The bags, the eye bags. Okay, cool. So now we have this. Now let's add the horns. So are we all looking at this? Yes. Let's add a couple of horns here, just around there. Yeah, just a little evilish monster just wants to play. And then just like something in the bottom of where the horn is coming from the body, from the head. And then let's just start completing the shape of the head, and now we can complete the shape of this of the face. There you go. And now, if you want to, maybe you can add a couple of ears, just tiny ears here. Look at that, how cute they are. Just like that. This does look like Jake from Finn and Jake Adventure Time. Let's add a mohawk. Just a little mohawk here. And then maybe we add just some lines here. Just almost like a tiger, I guess. Yeah, and then let's add a little bit more hair here in the back. There you go. Starting to look good. Let's move it a little bit lower. That way we have more room for the hair. Look at that. Yes, it's looking so cool. Okay, cool. So this is the face of our monster, and it was so easy to make with the symmetric tool. How I don't know. It's just like again, I feel like I'm cheating. Okay, but don't tell anyone. Okay, cool. So now we can start shading if we want to. This was just like we can start using this and just continue on that, or we can create a new layer, and a new layer, just change the opacity of this and then start like inking. So this was just my sketch, and now I'm going to start inking. And dun, 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 dun. So here, once I have a new layer, then I have to go and do the edit drawing guide again, and then turn this on again, because it's by default when you create a new layer, it's not on. So now that it's on, I can draw again. So let's ink it. So I'm going to use this brush that I have that is called from a set that is called Inktober. It's a pretty cool brush that I like, and I use it almost for everything. So just search for Procreate Inktober brushes, I guess, and then you're gonna find it. There you go. Now I'm starting to ink. Hopefully this looks cool once it's inked. Oops. Oh man. Now when it's, oh, because I moved the symmetry, now it's not really working the symmetry. Damn. Okay, hold on. What's going on with the symmetry? Well, anyway, let's not do that. I'm not going to do that. Let's just keep working with this. But the idea here is that actually I'm going to stop using the symmetry. Yeah, I shouldn't be using the symmetry actually. I'm going to stop using the symmetry and go to options. Once you want to ink it, it's actually better if you don't use symmetry. And that way, for example, the light of this should be over here. It shouldn't be on that side. That's weird. Like the light should be coming from the same side on both sides. So then if the light is here, then it should be reflected here too. So once you are ready to ink, then I will suggest don't use the actual symmetry, and just like go actually and just like start sketching it by hand. So okay, like the idea is that you go ahead and do that. We're not gonna do this here. The idea was that you learn to use the symmetry tool, and that way it will speed up your process whenever you're creating these little characters. Once you're ready, then you can come back and just like actually see. If I had the symmetry tool, it would be reflected here too, and we don't want that. And also here, like for example, the hair, you don't want it to be all symmetric. You want it to be a little bit weird, you know, and like crazy all over the place. So it's better if you just not use symmetry. Okay, cool. You made your point, Pablo. Okay, cool. So anyway, that's the idea here. I'm going to turn this back on. It's really cool tool that I use a lot just to make my first sketches, and just like to get something quickly done, and then later just like perfected by hand. So that's pretty much today's lesson. It's just using this little tool to create characters and using faces. It's a pretty cool, neat trick. Let me show you just as an extra the other option that I was telling you. Let me hide these, and I'm just going to create a new layer. And remember, I was telling you about the other drawing guides. Let me just show you those because they're so fun. So the one we use is this one, the vertical one, but there are also this one that is called quadrant and radial. Let's use the quadrant first. Let's use also this, turn this on. And once you have that on, look at this. Now you can just draw on one of the quadrants and it will be replicated everywhere else. So you can do stuff like this, for example. Look at that. Really cool texture. And it's so easy. Again, it's like cheating. You can create really weird stuff like this if you want to. But just play around with this stuff. Like seriously, it feels like once you start getting it, then you're gonna feel like, yeah, I need to create more and more textures like this. Look at that. Huh. And even with different layers, it applies. Let me create a new one, and just to try the quadrant one, let's turn on this thing, and now let's use this one, the radial one. Sorry. So now with the radial one, you can start creating stuff like this. So look at that. Oops. No, I don't like that. There you go. How cool is that? Oh my God, I'm such a cool drawer. Everybody's going to be like, oh my God, you're so good. You're so talented. And they're not going to know that you use the symmetry tool. Don't tell anyone. Look at that. That is so dope. Oh my God. If people from like the past looked at the tools that we have right now, they will like freak the hell out, right? They will be like, "Oh my God, I had to do that stuff by hand." Look at that! Look at that pattern. It's so beautiful. And seriously, like it's not me. It's the tool that is making it beautiful. Okay, cool. That's the idea. I was just covering it and I was not showing the results. Sorry about that. I should have drawn here, but you get the idea. Let's see it live. Let's see how you draw it in one place. That was not the best way to show the example. I'm sorry about that. But the idea is that you draw in one little corner and it repeats everywhere else. Okay, so that's our lesson for today. Hopefully this is helpful to you. I'm going to return over here. Just a quick lesson, but really powerful thing to just like get you just like start sketching and do crazy stuff. And again, we're doing these daily at a random time. I was going to commit to one specific time, but honestly, life is crazy, so I'm just doing them randomly. But don't worry, if you cannot make them, they're going to be recorded. You can watch them later. Okay, so thank you so much for joining. I'm doing these live streams while all this weird stuff is happening around the world. So I want you to stay safe and I know that these are scary times and it's okay to be scared. Like we're all like going through something really weird. So, but while some of us have to stay at home and do stuff like that and have us keep a social distance, and which is good, it's necessary, we have to do that to just like stop this thing from spreading too fast. But while we do that, maybe we don't have to be just in panic, we can still enjoy life. So hopefully you are able to do that. Take your time, slow down, take a deep breath. This stuff is scary, but it's gonna get better, okay? And okay, let's keep sketching, okay? I'll see you tomorrow, and thank you so much for being here. Bye bye.